90-Day Fiance, star Tiffany Franco car accident. Tiffany Franco has been admitted to the hospital and is receiving medical care. She is fighting death. I will explain everything. For Tiffany Franco, a name synonymous with resilience, romance, and a journey of personal transformation watched by millions on TLC's 90-Day Fiancé, a single terrifying moment on a quiet Maryland highway has plunged her from the spotlight into a fight for her very life. This is the story of that night, the critical hours that followed, and the battle that lies ahead. The evening of June 21st, 2025, began like any other Friday for Tiffany. After a busy week of juggling her makeup business, content creation, and most importantly, her life as a mother to her two children, Daniel and Carly Rose, she was heading home. Sources close to the family say she had just finished a late dinner with a friend in a neighboring town, a rare chance to unwind. The weather was turning. A light, persistent drizzle had begun to fall, making the roads slick and visibility poor. She was driving her familiar route on a two-lane state highway. It's a road she's traveled hundreds, if not thousands of times. The kind of drive you do on autopilot. But just before 10:45 p.m., the unthinkable happened. I was a few cars behind. The rain was. It was that misty kind that just makes everything glow. I saw the headlights of the truck. It was a big Ford F-250, maybe bigger. It was coming from the opposite direction. And it swerved. There was no warning, no brake lights from the car in front of me, nothing. It just veered across the center line. It happened so fast. The sound. I'll never forget that sound. It wasn't like in the movies. It was a sickening crunch, a deep, metallic scream, and then silence. Just for a second. The rain was the only thing you could hear. Multiple vehicle collision. Driver of the sedan is unresponsive, trapped inside. We need jaws of life, expedite. The first call to 911 was logged at 10:47 p.m. Within minutes, Maryland State Police and Frederick County Fire and Rescue were on the scene. What they found was a scene of utter devastation. A large pickup truck, its front end crumpled, had collided head-on with Tiffany's sedan. The force of the impact had sent her car spinning off the road into a ditch. When you arrive at a scene like that, your training takes over. You triage. The driver of the truck was dazed, bleeding, but he was walking and talking. Our focus immediately went to the sedan. It was bad. The driver's side had taken the brunt of the impact. The engine block was pushed back into the cabin. That's a catastrophic level event for any vehicle. The driver, who first responders would not identify for nearly an hour, was unconscious and pinned inside the wreckage. The golden hour, that critical 60-minute window after a traumatic injury, had begun. Every second was a battle against time. The extrication was complex. We had to peel the car away from her, piece by piece, being incredibly careful not to cause further injury. The entire time, our paramedics were inside the vehicle with her, as much as they could be. They were monitoring her vitals, trying to establish an airway, controlling whatever bleeding they could reach. Her pulse was thready and weak. Her blood pressure was dangerously low. We knew we were dealing with massive internal trauma. It took them 28 minutes, 28 agonizing minutes to free her from the steel that had become her cage. It was only after she was carefully placed on a backward, a cervical collar secured around her neck, that a police officer, checking her wallet for identification, made the shocking discovery. The critically injured woman fighting for her life was Tiffany Franco. Given the severity of her injuries, the decision was made to bypass closer hospitals. Tiffany was airlifted directly to the R. Adams Cowley Shock Trauma Center in Baltimore, one of the premier trauma facilities in the world. It was here, under the glare of sterile operating room lights, that the true extent of the damage would be revealed, and the fight for her life would begin in earnest. Dr. Gupta. When a patient arrives with the mechanism of injury she sustained, a high-speed, head-on collision, we have a protocol we call the trauma series. We assume the worst until proven otherwise. We're looking for the immediate life threats, catastrophic bleeding, compromised airway, and severe head trauma. The initial reports from the field, unresponsive, hypotensive, tell us we're likely dealing with all three. While the trauma team swarmed around Tiffany in the emergency bay, a different kind of nightmare was beginning for her family. The first call was made to her mother, a woman viewers have seen support Tiffany through thick and thin on the show. Imagine that call, the words that no parent ever wants to hear. There's been an accident. Your daughter. It's serious. Her mom. She collapsed. She made a sound that I can't even describe. It was pure anguish. We had to help her get dressed, get her keys. We drove her to Baltimore. It was the longest, most silent drive of my life. She just kept whispering, my baby girl, the kids, Daniel and Carly, were with their grandmother. The initial thought was not to wake them, not until they knew more. How do you tell a son his mother is hurt? How do you explain this to a toddler? At the hospital, the news was grim. Tiffany was immediately rushed into a multi-hour exploratory surgery. The doctors discovered a litany of life-threatening injuries. Dr. Gupta, based on reports, her injuries were extensive, a lacerated spleen and liver, causing massive internal bleeding in the abdominal cavity. This is what was causing the precipitous drop in blood pressure. She had a collapsed lung or pneumothorax from multiple fractured ribs on her left side. She sustained a compound fracture of her left femur, a devastating orthopedic injury. But the most critical concern was the head trauma. Tiffany had suffered a severe traumatic brain injury, or TBI. The impact had caused her brain to slam against the inside of her skull, resulting in swelling and bleeding. Dr. Gupta, brain swelling, or cerebral edema, is incredibly dangerous. The skull is a fixed box. When the brain swells inside it, there's nowhere for it to go. This increases intracranial pressure, which can cut off blood flow and oxygen to brain cells, causing permanent damage or death. The immediate goal is to reduce that pressure. To save her life, surgeons performed a decompressive craniectomy. This is a terrifying but necessary procedure where a piece of the patient's skull is temporarily removed to give the brain room to swell. While one team of surgeons fought to control the bleeding in her abdomen and stabilize her shattered leg, another team was literally holding her life in their hands, working to relieve the pressure on her brain. She was placed on a ventilator to breathe for her and put into a medically induced coma. This allows the body to divert all its energy to healing, protecting the brain from further stress. Tiffany Franco, the vibrant, outspoken woman we all know, was now silent, still, and entirely dependent on the machines and doctors surrounding her. As Tiffany lay in a medically induced coma in Baltimore, the news had to travel over 8,000 miles, across an ocean and a continent, to the one person whose life has been so inextricably linked with hers, Ronald Smith. Their love story has been a roller coaster, captivating and frustrating audiences in equal measure. From their fairy tale meeting in South Africa to the immense challenges of his past, visa delays, and the struggles of a long-distance marriage, their bond has been tested time and again. Now, it faced the ultimate test. Sarah Hayrick. Tiffany and Ronald have one of the most compelling and volatile relationships in the show's history. There's undeniable chemistry, a real love there, especially when you see them with the children. But the external pressures, his visa issues, financial instability, the distance, have always been this third character in their story. When news of the accident broke, the first question on every fan's mind was, what about Ronald? The time difference is 6 hours. The call from Tiffany's frantic mother reached Ronald in the early morning hours in South Africa. Sources say he was in a state of complete disbelief, followed by frantic desperation. Family friend. He just kept saying, is she alive? Is she breathing? I need to be there. I need to get there. But it's not that simple. He's in South Africa. He doesn't have a US visa. He can't just hop on a plane. The feeling of helplessness must have been crushing. He's the father of her child, her husband, and he's stuck on the other side of the world while the love of his life is fighting for her life. Within hours, Ronald posted a simple, heartbreaking message on his Instagram. It was just a black square with the caption, "Please pray, my Tiffany, my everything. Please God." The post sent shockwaves through the 90-day fiancé community. Initially, there was confusion, but soon, entertainment news outlets began to pick up the story. The first headline from TMZ was stark. 90-day fiancé star Tiffany Franco in critical condition after horrific car accident. Suddenly, this private family tragedy was a global news story. The support was immediate and overwhelming. A GoFundMe page, started by Tiffany's sister, was launched to help cover the astronomical medical bills and future care costs. The initial goal was set at $100,000. It was surpassed in less than 12 hours. Sarah Hayrick. The fan response shows you how much people, despite any on-screen drama, genuinely care about these individuals. They've watched her son Daniel grow up. They've seen her bring Carly into the world. They've followed her weight loss journey and seen her find new confidence. She feels like a part of their lives. So when something this terrible happens, the community rallies. It doesn't matter if you were Team Tiffany or Team Ronald. At that moment, everyone was Team Tiffany. The support wasn't just from fans. Her 90-day fiancé castmates, a sprawling family of personalities who have often feuded publicly, came together in a remarkable show of unity. Angela Deem, often a controversial figure, posted a photo of herself with Tiffany, writing, "God, please put your healing hands on this beautiful woman, a mother and a fighter. We are all praying for you, Tiff." Kalani Fagata wrote, "Absolutely heartbroken. Life is so fragile. Sending all my love and prayers to Tiffany, her beautiful children, and her mom." Even those with whom Tiffany had clashed, like her single life co-star Debbie Johnson, posted messages of support, putting past squabbles aside in the face of a true crisis. To understand the fighter that lies in that ICU bed, you must understand the life she has lived. Tiffany Franco's story has always been one of resilience. Long before the cameras of TLC entered her life, she was a young single mother, dedicating her life to her son Daniel. Viewers of 90-Day Fiancé, the other way, instantly fell in love with their bond. Daniel, wise beyond his years, was not just her son, but her partner in life's journey. Their close relationship became the emotional anchor of her story. Tiffany. Daniel is my rock. Everything I do for him. He's the most important thing in my world. Then came Ronald. A chance trip to South Africa led to a whirlwind romance. But with Ronald came a past he was trying to escape, a serious gambling addiction that had led to criminal charges. Tiffany made a controversial choice, one rooted in love and hope. She decided to move, with Daniel, to South Africa to build a life with him. Sarah Hayrick. This was a huge gamble for her, no pun intended. She uprooted her entire life for this man, betting on his recovery and their love. It was a testament to her optimistic, all-in personality. She saw the good in him and was willing to fight for it, even when her family and many viewers were skeptical. The journey was fraught with challenges. The reality of life in South Africa, concerns over safety, and the constant specter of Ronald's addiction created immense pressure. But it also brought them their greatest joy, the birth of their daughter, Carly Rose. With 2 children to think of, the stakes were higher than ever. The visa process for Ronald to come to the US was a frustrating, bureaucratic nightmare that dragged on for years. Ultimately, for the sake of her children's stability and future, Tiffany made the painful decision to return to Maryland, once again a single mother in practice, if not in name, with her husband half a world away. In recent years, we've witnessed another profound chapter in Tiffany's journey, her physical and personal transformation. After undergoing vertical sleeve gastrectomy, a form of weight loss surgery, Tiffany shed over 80 pounds, but it was more than a physical change. Family friend. The surgery wasn't just about losing weight, it was about her taking control of her own health, her own happiness. She found a new confidence that was amazing to see. She started her makeup line. She was creating content. She was dating again on the single life. She was really, truly coming into her own, not as part of a couple, but as Tiffany. That's what makes this accident so cruel. It happened when she was at the peak of her personal renaissance. This history of overcoming obstacles, of single motherhood, of an international move, of battling for her husband's sobriety, of taking control of her health. This is the foundation of the woman now lying unconscious in a hospital bed. Her entire life has been a series of fights, and now she is in the fight of her life. Days have turned into a week. Tiffany remains in a medically induced coma at the Shock Trauma Center. Her condition is described by hospital sources as critical but stable. The initial frantic crisis has settled into a grueling minute-by-minute vigil for her family. Dr. Gupta. Critical but stable is hospital jargon that can be confusing. Critical means that vital signs are unstable and there is a constant threat to life. Stable simply means the patient's condition is not actively deteriorating at that specific moment. It is by no means an out-of-the-woods declaration. In cases of severe TBI, this is a marathon, not a sprint. The focus now is on preventing secondary injuries, infections, pneumonia, blood clots, and managing the brain swelling. Her children, Daniel and Carly Rose, are being shielded as much as possible, surrounded by family. Daniel, who is old enough to understand the gravity of the situation, is reportedly receiving counseling. For Carly Rose, she only knows that her mommy isn't there. Family friend. Daniel he's trying to be so strong. He's trying to be the man of the house. He helps with his sister, but you see it in his eyes. He's terrified. He asks his grandma every morning, "Is Mama awake yet?" It's heartbreaking. The family is trying to keep their routine as normal as possible, but nothing is normal right now. And in South Africa, Ronald Smith has been desperately working with immigration lawyers. The US Embassy, spurred by a massive public outcry and petitions from fans, has reportedly granted him an emergency humanitarian visa. He is expected to be on a flight to Baltimore within days. Sarah Hayrick. This is a huge development. For years, the visa was the biggest obstacle in their relationship. It's a tragic irony that it took a life-threatening event like this to finally cut through the red tape. His presence at her bedside will be immeasurably important, not just for Tiffany's potential recovery, but for their children. They need their father right now. But what will happen when Tiffany, hopefully, wakes up? The road to recovery will be long, arduous, and uncertain. Dr. Gupta. Waking up from a coma is not like flipping a switch. It's a gradual process. And the recovery from a severe TBI is a lifelong journey. Patients can face a wide range of challenges: physical, cognitive, and emotional. Physically, she'll have to recover from the orthopedic injuries. The femur fracture will require months of physical therapy. Cognitively, patients can struggle with memory, concentration, and executive function. Emotionally, it can lead to depression, anxiety, and personality changes. Every single case is different. She will need a team of specialists: physical therapists to learn to walk again, occupational therapists to relearn daily tasks, and speech therapists if her language centers were affected. She will need immense psychological support to process the trauma. Her life and the life of her family has been irrevocably changed. The woman who wakes up may not be the same woman who was driving home on that rainy Friday night, but her family and the millions of people who have followed her story are holding on to one thing: her spirit. Family friend. If anyone can do this, it's Tiffany. She is the strongest person I know. She has been knocked down so many times in her life, and she always gets back up. She has to. She has to do it for Daniel and Carly. They are her world, and she is theirs. In the face of immense darkness, the world has responded with a tidal wave of light. The investigation into the accident is ongoing. The driver of the truck, who sustained minor injuries, is under investigation for reckless driving, with reports of texting while driving being the key focus. But for now, the legalities have taken a backseat to the human drama. The focus is on healing. The coming weeks and months will be the most challenging of Tiffany Franco's life. It will be a journey through pain, frustration, and small victories that will feel monumental. She will have to draw on that deep well of resilience that has defined her entire life. She will be surrounded by the love of her mother, her sister, her children, and a husband who is crossing the globe to be by her side. And she will be lifted by the thoughts and prayers of millions of strangers, a community brought together by a television show, who are now united in their hope for her recovery. We don't know what the future holds for Tiffany Franco, but we know she is not fighting alone. More update. Tiffany Franco splits from boyfriend Dan McFarland. Star Tiffany Franco's new boyfriend revealed. Who is Tiffany Franco's ex, Ronald Smith's new girlfriend? And glaring clues: Tiffany Franco and Ronald are still in love. I will explain everything. Tiffany Franco splits from boyfriend Dan McFarland. But why? Tiffany Franco, who was on 90-Day Fiancé for a while before her breakup with Ronald Smith, has confirmed that she is seeing Dan McFarland. During a trip to South Africa, the 31-year-old single mother of son Daniel met Ronald. And in the first season of 90-Day Fiancé, the other way, they were married. Despite the couple's joy at welcoming a daughter, Carly, into the world, physical separation ultimately ended their marriage. Many times before getting back together, Tiffany and Ronald considered divorcing. On the other hand, 90 Days, the single life altered everything. On season 3 of The Single Life, Tiffany Franco, 90-Day Fiancé, met Dan on a dating app while she was still separated from Ronald. Tiffany and Dan started dating in September 2022, but they recently broke up, as she announced in an Instagram live video. John Yates, a blogger, demonstrated that Tiffany had unfollowed Dan by posting images of Tiffany's Instagram profile. A fan commented in Yates' comment area, "She just confirmed on her live right now that they aren't seeing each other anymore. They are better off as friends." Even after trying to inquire as to why Tiffany unfollowed Dan, although they are still friends, the fans said they were unable to get an answer. Tiffany, who was on 90 Days to a Fiancé, has likewise removed all of Dan's content off Instagram. Because of this, Tiffany and Ronald's relationship is seen as one of the most poisonous on 90 Day Fiancé. Even the most dedicated fans are likely confused by the number of times the couple has broken up and then gotten back together. It was clear that Tiffany and Ronald had reconciled after her romantic outing on horseback with Dan on The Single Life. After learning that Ronald had been cheating on her and had never ended things with Lauren Fraser, Tiffany finally snapped. So far, no word on a divorce from 90 Day Fiancé husband Ronald, even though she has stated that she is in discussions with a lawyer to formally end their marriage. In the meantime, Ronald has taken to Instagram to brag about his girlfriend. It is unknown how Ronald met Lauren, a British woman. On the other hand, Ronald asserts that Tiffany threatened their children in order to get him to end his relationship with Lauren. But in a recent Instagram Q&A with her fans, Tiffany stated that she has no business deciding whether or not Ronald's social media photos with his girlfriend are genuine or whether he is just trying to cover up something. No matter how annoying she finds Ronald, Tiffany claims her desire to see him happy outweighs all others. But she made fun of Ronald by suggesting that he should start a new family, if he can even make it to one. Tiffany, the famous 90 Day Fiancé couple, keeps returning to Ronald despite his mistakes, since everyone wants to know if she still has feelings for him. Did Tiffany, in an effort to make Ronald envious, go overboard uploading Instagram footage of Dan kissing her? By deleting the videos, Tiffany has effectively ended her relationship with Dan. Perhaps Tiffany will return to Dan, this time instead of Ronald, the star of 90 Day Fiancé, considering her past with her exes. Star Tiffany Franco's new boyfriend revealed. After breaking up with Dan McFarland and Ronald Smith, Tiffany Franco, star of 90 Day, The Single Life, has found love again. In the first season of 90 Day Fiancé, the other way, Tiffany, a 31-year-old from Maryland, wed Ronald, a man from South Africa. A daughter, Carly Rose, was born to Tiffany and her husband in July 2019. Daniel, her kid from a prior relationship, was already in her life. Due to Ronald's immigration problems, Tiffany and Ronald were unable to be together. Even he failed miserably at supporting his loved ones. In February 2023, Tiffany stated that she and comedian Dan, whom she had begun dating through a dating app, had split up. Tiffany allegedly started dating Scott Wern in June 2023 after hinting at a new relationship in March of that year. However, 90 Day Fiancé update reports that Tiffany has now moved on with her partner. A photo of Tiffany with a man at Magoo's was uploaded on the Instagram page. While the 90 Day Fiancé star gazed fondly at her beau, the man glanced into the camera with a hand wrapped around Tiffany. Tiffany, who has shed more than 80 pounds, wore all black. It was announced on Tiffany's Instagram page that her new lover is not American. Since her new partner is Irish, she is once again dating across national boundaries. A 90 Day Fiancé fan named Ronnie mentioned Tiffany's boyfriend in the caption. After hearing that Tiffany was seeing someone new, followers took to the comments to express their shock and dismay. Something like, "She doesn't care for her kids," was written by one of her fans, relentlessly pursuing older men. Why couldn't Tiffany find a date from her own nation? Someone else wondered. Another viewer of reality TV shows commented, "Anything to stay on TV lol." But some of her admirers were thrilled for Tiffany as well, seeing as how she seemed content in her relationship. 90 Day. The Single Life was Tiffany's most recent appearance. She claimed to be over Ronald, but she ended up getting back together with him after traveling to South Africa to see him. During the course of their breakup, Tiffany learned that Ronald was seeing someone else. After that, Tiffany made up her mind to divorce Ronald. Dan, with whom Tiffany had met multiple times before to her trip to South Africa, proposed to her. Tiffany did had an off-screen romance with Dan, but after they broke up, Tiffany shared a video of an unidentified male whose identity she kept hidden. Scott, who was previously romantically involved with Lydia Morrill, has shown interest in dating Tiffany. She let it slip that they weren't dating and appeared to turn down Scott's offer. Even though Tiffany and Ronnie are dating, Tiffany has not yet made it official on Instagram. Tiffany remains a beloved member of the 90 Day Fiancé cast despite the criticism directed towards her questionable life decisions. Given Ronnie's Irish heritage, Tiffany and he may become engaged if their romance takes a serious turn, which would mean they get to film their newly formed relationship on TLC. Although Tiffany will not be appearing in the next 4th season of 90 Day, The Single Life, she may return with her new boyfriend and a fresh plotline that has nothing to do with her ex-boyfriend Ronald. Who is Tiffany Franco's ex, Ronald Smith's new girlfriend? According to Tiffany Franco's accusation, made on the 3rd season Tell All of 90 Day, The Single Life, former 90 Day Fiancé star Ronald Smith cheated on her with his girlfriend. In South Africa, Tiffany and her companion met Ronald, who is an influencer and owner of a makeup brand. Tiffany met Ronald while on vacation. After an immediate spark ignited between them, Tiffany and Ronald spent 6 months dating despite physical distance. When she returned to his country, he proposed. Originally featured in the 1st season of 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Tiffany and Ronald's tale was included in their marriage. Carly was born 9 months after they were married. Tiffany and Ronald have repeatedly stated in recent years that they were done with each other, which has made their relationship seem ridiculous. The announcement of their divorce was hard for fans to believe because Tiffany and Ronald, who had been a pair on 90 Days to a Fiancé, was soon back to posting mushy Instagram images of each other. Meanwhile, Tiffany revealed that she had started the divorce proceedings on the most recent 90 Day, The Single Life Tell-All. Feeling betrayed by him, Tiffany finally snapped when she learned that Ronald's fiancé was still very much involved in his life. If Ronald and his girlfriend have also broken up, fans are wondering. It was during Tiffany's dates with Fabian and Dan on 90 Days, The Single Life, that Ronald confided in her about his relationship type thing, which had been light-hearted since their breakup. The fact that Ronald announced his new girlfriend online was actually how Tiffany, a cast member of 90 Days to a Fiancé, learned about it. However, Tiffany once again gave in to Ronald's charm and empty promises. Ronald and Tiffany were in a relationship for 1 month when she discovered, just 3 days before her trip to South Africa, that he was seeing another woman and had even been taking money from her. When the woman dialed Ronald's number, Tiffany picked up the call, After hearing that Tiffany had departed for South Africa, the woman claims that Ronald informed her that he needed to see Carly. According to Ronald's deception to his fiancé, Tiffany was actually lying next to him in bed, not at his mom's house. The new lady in Ronald's life, Lauren Fraser, was featured in an Instagram post by Ronald on November 17, 2021. The caption said, "Allow me to introduce everyone to the new person in my life, Lauren Layton Fraser," and it was written by Ronald. Audio of his speech was accompanied by a video collage of himself and Lauren. As a further comment, he said, "You helped me out when I was down. With you, I have a solid support system. You are much appreciated for who you are." The Maryland woman told about reconciling with her baby daddy a month after Ronald said he had filed for Tiffany's divorce. To be sure, Ronald shared a photo collage of his English sweetheart in February of this year with the statement, "Please promise me no what, you will never let go." The posts were later removed and Tiffany, a celebrity from 90 Days of Marriage, didn't even mention Lauren in her tell-all. The girlfriend, who many believe was the driving force behind their breakup, is, however, not the case. After shocking fellow 90 Day Fiancé fans with a now-deleted post, Reddit user /Living Through Reality began a rumor on Wednesday that Ronald was expecting a new child, but not with Tiffany. They documented their tip regarding Ronald informing Tiffany about his girlfriend's pregnancy. During Tiffany's Instagram Live in November, the fan allegedly reached out to her and the actress of 90 Day. The single life responded with a very telling maybe. Since Ronald, who starred in 90 Day Fiancé, has stopped posting Instagram photos of his partner, it is unclear whether he is indeed going to have a baby again. Glaring clues: Tiffany Franco and Ronald are still in love. But why? Even though Tiffany Franco and Ronald Smith of 90 Day Fiancé are no longer married, they may still be romantically together. The troubled romance between Tiffany and her South African fiancé was chronicled in multiple 90 Day Fiancé spin-offs. They get engaged after dating for 6 months after meeting through common acquaintances. In the years that followed, Tiffany wed Ronald in South Africa. They had a daughter, Carly, in 2019. Tiffany also has a son, Daniel, from a prior relationship, but Tiffany felt the United States would be the best environment for her children to grow up, so she relocated back. 100 Day in late 2021, fiancé Tiffany Franco and Ronald broke up. During filming for season 3 of 90 Days, The Single Life, Tiffany went on dates with other men, while Ronald moved on with a new girlfriend called Lauren Layton Fraser. Ronald had promised to let her take her time saving up for a divorce attorney, she said, but she has been in a financial bind ever since her back from South Africa. According to Tiffany, Ronald sent her a forged document stating the divorce was finalized, but Ronald insisted that Tiffany declined to sign the necessary documents. According to Tiffany, she is more concerned with taking care of her 2 children and her business than with getting a divorce. There are rumblings that Tiffany and Ronald may still be romantically involved, as they have been unable to finalize their divorce despite months of separation. The fact that they discuss each other so openly in conversation and on social media provides a strong indication. After they broke up, Ronald started asking Tiffany a lot of questions about him, and she started answering a lot of questions about him. One possible clue that Ronald is still pining for Tiffany is the caption that he just used, "I'm so over you," followed by a kiss emoji. They would refrain from bringing each other up in online conversations if they had truly moved on. Probably in an effort to make Ronald envious, Tiffany has transformed her social media profile since their breakup and shared numerous adorable pool videos with her on-screen beau Dan McFarland. The breakup between Tiffany and Dan didn't stop Ronald from acting envious of his ex-wife's passionate posts about her new partner. Likely in an effort to turn Tiffany green with envy, he started sharing an inordinate amount of content on social media featuring his new partner. The couple's public displays of intimacy following their breakup may indicate that they're still very much in the other's thoughts. "Now stop being obsessed. Bye, Lauren," Ronald's girlfriend joked. When Tiffany says she's having some financial problems, And that's why she can't finalize the divorce. She might not be telling the truth. Tiffany has been publishing dozens of reels, which results in extra revenue, traveled to Mexico, and done numerous cosmetic treatments since her major gastric sleeve surgery. She has also glammed herself for various events. Tiffany has also been keen about her plan to make Ronald's girlfriend envious by taking him back on the show. These things point to the fact that the ex-90-day fiancé franchisee may be furious with Ronald, but reluctant to leave him. 90-day fiancé. Tiffany kissed Rob on the show. But why? In case you haven't been keeping up with 90-day fiancé, you know how much fun it is when different cast members work together. So, the tell-all part is a hit with the audience. As a result, TLC started releasing spin-offs like Hunt for Love, which features 8 different actors from different series getting together for some much-needed camaraderie. Together with Rob Warren, it features Tiffany Franco. Along with them, the show features actresses Tim Malcolm, Colt Johnson, Jennifer Tarazona, Courtney Reardons, and Yusman Yuma. The 16 other new cast members are supposed to help them find love. Nonetheless, it appears that a large number of the original cast members are interested in exploring romantic relationships with one another. Much has been hinted at between Tiffany and Rob as of late. Tiffany Rock is a multi-talented woman who has been on 90-day fiancé, has her own business, and is a single parent to 2 children. She asked for assistance with her dating life in the Hunt for Love confessional, explaining that she had a lot on her plate already. Cast members aren't the only ones encouraged to socialize on the program. Dating counselors also plan enjoyable activities to help the members get to know one another. It all started when Tiffany joked about being super F***king single at the start of the performance. On the other hand, she is determined to break out of her shell and discover love at the resort. We don't yet know how hot and wild the cast members' adventures will go, but judging by her social media posts, the show is already off to a steamy start. A possible affair with Rob was hinted at by her. The tragic events of Hunt for Love have only just begun. It was hinted at by the 90-day fiancé cast members during the show's promotional materials. It is the most intense and unpredictable season yet, according to them. People are taking their time getting to know each other on the show, but some have already made many ties and have been going from person to person. A member of this group is Tiffany Franco. As of this point in the 4th episode, she still hasn't established a strong connection with anyone on the show. However, her devoted following knows that she remains as endearing and kind as ever. Still, she was extremely slow when it came to making friends. To be fair, her most recent Instagram post did provide some show spoilers. During the fan Q&A, someone wanted to know if she got to kiss Rob as filming was going on. Tiffany, ever the flirt, asked behind the scenes once more. This led her admirers to think that she was attempting to suggest that she and Rob had a passionate kiss during their time on the show. At this point, the audience is eager to find out when and how this will transpire. Then again, maybe Tiffany was just trying to tease her admirers. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.